Hello everyone, in this quick video I'm going to show you how to disassemble a fake iPhone 6s Plus. And as you can see, it's a very nice realistic looking iPhone 6s Plus, and there is basically, from the outside of it, you cannot tell that it's fake. It's got everything including an IMEI number and everything else you would expect on like where you would expect it. It's a very good fake. So first off, let's get started. You're going to actually need regular iPhone tools to pull this apart, and you're going to use a pentalobe screwdriver. In the bottom here, I already have this opened. However, you're going to have two pentalobe screws, one here and one here next to the charge port. So you remove these, then suction cup on the screen like you would with a normal iPhone, and as soon as you can get it to lift, I found that I had to use a razor blade to kind of push down in there just a little bit and to just kind of pick up on it a little bit until I was able to get this pry tool in, this guitar pick like pry tool, and just kind of gently go around the edges, and you will lift it up. And then before you do any of that though, make sure you remove the SIM card. This is one of the differences between the real ones and the fake ones, is that the screen on these comes out as one whole unit and you're left with an empty shell. Versus the real iPhone, you will take the screen off separately and the rest of it all stays in the shell. So remove the SIM card first, or the screen will not lift the whole way and you'll risk bending the SIM card tray. So remember to remove that. Now, because I already have it open, I'll lift it up here and show you guys. So you take the screen off and you're left with an empty tray here. And now you've got your volume buttons that you can see is actually aluminum. It's actually nicely made. And your power button as well will be loose here. You can just slide those back into their places. The casing is aluminum and it's actually of fairly nice quality. We'll take a look at the screen itself here. Now the screen has still got everything on it still. Now it's all attached as one unit. That's how it comes out. You've got your camera still, you've got your battery, you've got your whole logic board, which covers most of it here, and you've got your whole charge port as well as speaker. And the difference between the iPhones is basically all this is different. As well as they've used a lot of gold plating on the connections here, which if you are planning on scrapping this, would be nice to remove the gold plating with a nice acid solution like you can see on one of my other videos. I'm not going to pull it apart too much beyond this. I'll show you though that the power button right here, you can actually, if you push it with your fingernail, the phone still turns on and still functions. And so that is a huge difference between the real one and the fake. But yeah, basically you don't even need that shell to use this. You can actually still put the SIM card back in. So now if you were going to repair this, to repair a screen, I would say for one, it's probably not worth it. I'm not sure if you can get the parts for these to replace them. However, it would appear, oh, it's still on, it's making vibrations in my finger here. Turn it on, there. Yeah, it looks like, without me actually doing it here, it looks like you would have to unscrew basically everything off of this, the whole motherboard here, speaker, the battery, remove everything, and then attach all this to a new screen, which could be fairly simple. It's actually, like, if you look at this, it has an Android operating system on it. It's actually not of that bad quality. One thing I'm noticing right here is there is an extra connection right here that is nothing is connected to, and there's nothing in the case that connects to that, so I'm not sure what that would have been for if they make more than one model for this phone. I'm not sure. This connection right here is most likely the battery. If I actually, if I turn it on here, there, now it's on. And if I take my little pry tool, so now let's see here. Let's just, so this one right here. So now the screen is still on, and I'm just gonna pop that off. If I can see it right there, and that is not the battery. So, oh, that was the battery. It keeps a memory. So this is kind of interesting. Unlike the iPhones, this is actually keeping a memory of the battery power. So now if I reconnect this, just, there, it's back in now. Now I wonder if it'll restart. Just hold the on button here. It only had like 1% charge on it. That is one of the problems with these, is that they do not hold a good charge for any length of time. No, I think that killed it. It is on properly. Let me grab the charger cable. Now I don't need it to be back in the case to charge it. Just need to plug it in. And there is the port. There, now it's plugged in. Then let's give it a second and see if it comes back. It doesn't appear it's going to come back on. Anyways, I'll unplug it now, and I'll show you how to put it back into the case. So, first things we're going to do here is we're going to put the volume back in, the volume button. Put that back in where it goes, and the power button. This right here is your SIM card removal button, just like you would normally have on a regular iPhone. So now, as you can see here, there are tabs on the top, and so just like a regular iPhone, you're going to put the top in first. So we'll slide that down, and then I'm just going to apply even pressure and just kind of slide my fingers up it, and it is slowly popping back in, and it appears to be completely back in now. Now I'll put the SIM card tray back in. I don't need that SIM card. So now I'll put that back in. Now I'll put the screws back in the bottom here. No different than it would on a real iPhone. And just screw that in. And they're the same size as the real iPhone. Oh, I just dropped that one. Doesn't really matter though, we'll find it later. Plug it back in. What you're going to notice on these iPhone clones here is that some people will tell you that they're just as good or better quality as the real ones, and it is very, very false. They are not even close, and I would say that none of the parts on this are compatible with the real ones, so it doesn't even make a good parts phone. If you are if you go on the internet with one of these, like a regular iPhone with no issues, it'll just, you just flip through the pages, no problem on the internet, download apps, whatever. This will not allow you to download apps properly, as well as this will constantly freeze on the internet. The most of these are good for is very basic texting and calling people. Let me see if I can it'll turn on again. And I can show you guys the box that this comes in as well. This is the box that it comes in. iPhone 6s Plus. It is 64 gig, it says, and that is true. It is actually 64 gig. The box looks very legit, very real, like exactly the same as you would get from the store. Let's try to open it up here. Now, looks very realistic. Now you would find the phone sitting right here. Now, let me just pop that down. Designed by Apple in California. You have no, on the inside actually you do get the SIM key, and this is the actual SIM key that was in it. And this is very cheap stamped metal that's just been stamped cut. One side is nice and smooth, the other side is quite rough, but it does work, and it'll work on the real iPhones as well, no different, and they're fine to use. Now inside this is where you would normally have your manual and whatnot else. Let's open it up here, show you what you get. So your manual is this that you're going to get with it. These two pieces of paper. This one basically shows you very basic how to turn off and on, and sleep wake button, home button, touch ID sensor. I wasn't aware that it had a touch ID sensor. I'm going to test that and see if it actually works later on. Silent volume buttons, everything exactly the same as you would expect on a real one. And says welcome to iPhone and everything else here. You will notice some spelling errors as well. The iPhone info here just tells you basically all the type of stuff here. Just the basic, real basic info. So, like, I mean, compared to what you would normally get, this is not at all real. You would normally get an actual pamphlet about the phone. So let's just put that back in there. And the other thing that you're going to get is headphones, like you normally would. And that crack in the top, I might have done that myself. Now, this, is it glued or what? Oh, it's taped on the side there. So it's actually nicely put together, and if you didn't try these, you would guess that they're real. But when you try them, they crackle, and they are very poor quality. They are like basically exact copy on the outside, but a very poor quality. And basically, the second you use them, you figure that they're halfway blown up, the speakers inside them. The charger looks exactly the same, except that there is no Apple logo on the inside here where it shows the information, as well as any information actually saying like Apple California or anything of the sort. It's basically just unbranded. It's got some basic info about, it's got a serial number, and it just says power adapter, model, made in China, and 100 to 240 volt input. And whether that's true or not, I'm not sure. These do work fine though. Now you've got your USB charging cable. It again is exact copy. The one thing that you're going to notice here is that this, where it plugs into the phone, is an exact copy. However, it is actually thicker than a real iPhone. So it will actually work on, say, this one, but you're going to notice you're going to push a bit harder, and it'll go in, and it will charge this phone. It will charge a real iPhone. However, I would think doing that multiple times would eventually cause damage, and an actual charger would be very loose inside there afterwards. But these phones, it fits just fine into. It'll if I show you, it will plug in there. It is there. It has to be lined up properly, but it actually goes in quite simple. Put that back. And so you've got all your stuff in here. Looks very normal, just like it would a regular iPhone. Now if we take all this out, I'll show you another difference here. And now this lifts out. Try to be careful with it. So now here's one of the differences with the box, is that is not normal to just lift out like that. And now this tray is glued in, and if I lift it, there, it popped out. Now we've got more cardboard, and that's how the box looks on the inside there. So a real iPhone, it would not be glued down at all. Let's put that back in and slide this back in. There, it's turned on. Let's plug it in. Now I'll show you the differences here as soon as it starts up. So it shows a realistic Apple logo, and it is the same size. It is to spec with what the Apple logo should look like. Okay, now let's slide to unlock it. Now settings. Now as you can see, it does not load very quickly. Now iCloud. So now look at this. Trying to enter in my iCloud here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it won't actually let me click the screen. It won't let me select that. I cannot select any option here to enter in an iCloud. So now we go back. Let's test the Touch ID. So let's add a fingerprint. Now as you can see, this is also fake. It is not doing anything. It is completely just a picture on the screen. So let's go back now. Turn passcode on. So now let's we'll go 4-digit. Now we'll just go 5555 and touch continue when done. So continue. Confirm. Okay. Now let's see if that will work. So that works at least. Let's see the camera. So now it's showing what's on the desk here. It's not very high resolution. It's definitely not HD. It's trying to focus. Now it does get better. It does get better when it's focused, but it is nothing like a real iPhone. We'll turn it around here, the camera, and now it's showing the phone that's recording this. Let's go back, and there it flashes like it normally would. Good flash. Let's turn the flash off. Take another photo. Now it seems to work exactly how it should here. Now we select video. Now it's taking a video, saving. See, a real iPhone will not tell you it's saving. So now let's see. So let's exit that. Let's go into Photos. And let's select our video here. And so it did take a video. Now let's see the other settings. So now you can put it on the internet just fine. It will go on the internet, and it's already picked up what the Wi-Fi is here. Bluetooth, I don't know if that works. Turn Bluetooth on. Not visible to other Bluetooth devices. It's searching for devices. Doesn't seem like it's going to pick anything up. Let's see general and about. So now you can choose a name for, you can name it. So iPhone. Now it's not letting me actually choose that. Oh, there. Okay, so it did let me choose that. I just had to go back and it has saved it. Capacity 64 gig, available 63.95. That is real. It is actually holding that much. It says that it has no videos, even though I just put one on. Photos, none. It has about 6 photos on it. Applications, it says it has 32 applications. Carrier, these are factory unlocked, however they will only work on American and Canadian SIM cards, carriers. The IMEI number right there, it will not come up as a real iPhone, obviously. However, that is a real IMEI number. If you're going to put it on a carrier, if you're going to set it up, they will need that number to properly set it up. See the legal information here, legal statement. Now here's something. See, now it shows that I'm clicking it for the legal statement, but it's not actually doing anything. It's not going anywhere. See license? Showing that I'm clicking it, but it's not actually going anywhere. The guarantee, not going anywhere. Supervision, not going anywhere. RF exposure, not going anywhere. All this entire page for legal information is fake. Now these take a long time to charge up fully, and a very quick time to completely lose that charge. Now let's see Siri. Oh, I can block offensive words. I'm not sure if Siri is going to swear at me or if I'm going to swear at her. Now, let's see here. Now can we go back? It does not give me an option to go back now. Oh, there we go. It went back. iTunes. So it tells you to connect it to iTunes, however, I'm unsure if this would work. I highly doubt it would. Supervision, I'm not sure what that is. And look, that is also a fake option. That does not actually work. Another fake option. Reset. Reset is real. So you can restore all settings, restore all content. Looks basically as real as an actual iPhone. So let's see, restore all settings. So erase all your personal information and download apps. You can't reverse this action. So that appears to be real. Um, the other one appears to be real, so I would assume that this page is actual real. Um, now, let's see what else. Software update and service. iOS 9.3, your software is up to date. So now it does not give me an option to search for updates. Now let's get out of this. The date isn't correct because it hasn't been set up properly, so we'll give it that break there. iTunes Store. So it wants to connect to the computer. Now the App Store. The App Store, it wants a Wi-Fi connection, but this is actually not going to go to the App Store. This is going to go to Google, to like a Android phone would do, basically. It's going to go to the same place an Android phone would go to, not necessarily Google. I don't remember what they go to exactly. So that's going to be a huge realization of that something isn't right with this. Now, your phone option, you can enter in your contacts, recent, all this type of stuff, and dial numbers as well as your voicemail. So all that works fine. And yeah, the calculator, it works just fine. That is real. Navigation, I don't know if that is real. Watch, I don't know. We'll show the compass here. So compass turns on quite quickly, and I found that with testing the compass, it's actually once it finds its spot, once it sets itself, it's actually pretty good at being realistic. And like, I wouldn't say that it's very far off of what it should actually be. So the compass, like, I mean, you could probably rely on it. Anyways, that is the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and it helps make you realize that this is not a good purchase, and to show you that if you have bought one and you're concerned that maybe it's not real, this is how it's going to show you that it's not real. So I'll see you guys later.